I will be talking about group by in pandas. So group by is a very important concept in pandas library because it is used to group categories and apply function to the categories. So how does group by actually works? So we need to understand what is the process behind group by. So basically group by has three steps: splitting, applying, and combining. Splitting means when we split the data into groups by applying some conditions on the data sets. Applying means a process in which we apply a function to each group independently. Combining means when we combine different data sets after applying group by and it results into a data structure. So group by internally performs these three things. So let's understand how does it do. So consider I have a data set like this. So I'm just going to open the pandas library. Sorry, I'm just going to open Jupyter Notebook. So let's import the pandas library first. And then I'm going to just copy this data set, which I'm having in form of a dictionary. So firstly, we will convert this into a data frame. So that is how it looks like. Now suppose I want to group this data using qualification. I want to group this data set. So actually we can only do grouping with categorical columns, right? Because address, age, name, they are not really categories. But qualification can be a category, like how many people belongs to, has MA as a qualification, how many have MC as a qualification. So that is the reason we will choose qualification. Although you can use any column to do the grouping. But here I'm going to choose qualification. So to do group by, we write data frame name dot group by column name. Actually, group by returns us the object. Now, if you want to get number of groups from this, you can write dot n groups. So it is giving 6 because there are 6 groups total. So if you want to get the groups also, you can write df dot group by column name dot groups. So here you can see it is showing the groups. BTech has 4, BCom has 5, MA has, like it is showing the index where each of the group, where each of the data of these groups belong. So like BTech is in index 4 as you can see. BCom is at index 5. Then MA has 2 indexes, 1 and 7. So that is what these groups will tell us. So again, as I have before, I have already told you what is a data frame. In my first video, you can check out about the data frame. Here I'm just telling you about group by. Now let's proceed further. Now if you want to, now let's suppose you want to print the first entries in all the groups. So how you can do that? You can just write. So firstly, you can store this into a variable. Now you can write grp.first. So here it is giving the first entries. First entries means that if your data of any group is occurring more than one time, 2-3 times, it will give the first entries of that group. Like here, if you see, MA was occurring 2 times. So in 2 times, the first one was Anuj. So here I'm getting Anuj data. I'm not getting the second data, which is Abhi. So MA for Abhi is not coming over here because I am getting the first entries of each group. If you want to get the last entries of each group, you can write group dot last. So now you are getting the last entries. So that is how these functions work. Then you can also group data with multiple keys. Like I have only grouped for qualification. You can group it with two keys also. How? So you can just write data frame dot group by. You can mention name and qualification both. Here. So now you can see here, it's now grouping the data using two columns. One is qualification and one is name. And it is also giving the index. Now let's see how do we iterate over the groups. If I want to iterate through groups, then I can use for loop. Now, when you iterate over a group, it returns two things, the name and the data of that group. So let's see how do we do that. So let's consider I want to iterate over qualification only. Means let's suppose I want to group the data using qualification for now. So I will go back here. I will run this cell again. And now I will iterate over this group. So what will I do? For name comma group in grp, because this is returning me two things. Let's see, when I print name and when I print group, what do I get? So you can see here, name is the name of the group because it is grouping through qualification. So BTech is the name of the group and the data of that group is coming here. This is the data. Similarly, BCom is the group name and this is the data. So actually you can consider it like this. If you get confused, you can write group underscore name, comma, group underscore data. First is the group underscore name and then group underscore data. Like this. So that is how you can iterate through multiple groups. So if you want to select a single group, then what you can write is you can use set underscore group function like grp dot set underscore group. You can like write MA. Since MA is the qualification value, so I want to get the data for MA as a group. So here, sorry, it's get underscore group. So you can see I'm getting two rows for MA. Now, as I told you, first we have split the data into groups. Now, how will I apply function to any group? Applying function means, let's suppose you want to get the mean of a group, sum of a group. In that case, we apply functions to a group. So once you have split the data into a group, we apply a function to each group in order to do that we perform some operations. So there are three ways you can apply function to a group. What are those? So first is your aggregation, second is transformation, and third is filtration. So let's understand all these three separately. First, let's see what is aggregation. Aggregation means when we compute the summary statistic about each group. Like suppose you want to get the sum of sales of any region. You have data about every region and you have grouped the data using region, and now you want to get the sum of sales of each region. In that case, you will use aggregation. So consider over here. Now again, this will be performed using your numerical column only. Like it can only be done, aggregation can only be done on a numerical column. So in our data set, we have age as the numerical column. So let's see. So we can simply write here group dot aggregate. Actually, we can use, yeah, and inside that you can write the function you want to apply on each group. So in NumPy, there are certain aggregation function like like sum, mean, median, standard deviation, variance. So here I'm going to import the NumPy library. So here I'm going to write np.sum. So here if you see, it is giving the sum of each group. Now some groups have only single value, so it will only give that value. Now MA had two values, so let's see whether it has done the summation of age for MA or not. So let's go here. Now MA had one age as 32 and other as 24. So now if you add 24 and 32, what do you get is 56. So like this it will do. Similarly, we can use mean also over here, like group.aggregate np.mean. So here it is giving the mean. Now MA is coming 28 as it is the mean of two values. Then what else we can do is we can use standard deviation also. So np.std can be applied here. Now in these cases some are coming NaN. So you don't have to worry about that because the values are like that. So they have applied the standard deviation formula on these columns, on this column, and then it is giving the standard deviation. Similarly, you can apply variance, you can also apply count. But count will actually not work here. Count is not a function in NumPy. It is actually a part of Pandas. Anyway, this is how you do aggregation. You can apply multiple functions on a single group also. So how will we do that is we can just write group dot aggregate. You can pass a list over here and you can write np.sum, np.mean, np.std. So here if you see, we are getting all the functions, all the aggregate functions are applied over here. So that is how we do aggregation. In the next video, I will be talking about transformation. So we will meet in the next video.